Okay, welcome everybody. We'll make a start. I know many people in the room and I've said hello to some of you this morning, but in case you don't know who I am, I'm Vivian Bournefield and I'm the current president of BERA. And we're very glad to welcome you here for this Education, the State of the Discipline event. And the main thing that we want to do today is to share with you some of the work we've been doing, and we will have presentations from people who've been working on the various reports which are informing this initiative. And we hope very much that you will help us to work on the outcomes of this and help us to prepare a statement from BERA to reflect what we're finding through this project. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Dom Wise, who is the Vice President of BERA, former President, and really this initiative is Dom's baby.
Thanks, Vivian. Okay, really great pleasure to see you all. I'm hoping we can really get into the discussions about what is education, what is it as an academic discipline, what is it as a field of practice, how does it affect you in each of your institutions? How does it affect you in your networks? One of the main things that the State of the Discipline Initiative aimed to do was to provide some robust research evidence and data on what actually is the state of the discipline of education. My interest in this began prior to me thinking about the dreaded presidential address, which you start thinking about a year before and increasingly get more nervous as the moment arrives. But I had a few ideas that I was particularly passionate about, one of which was, in my view, education as an academic discipline stands up very well to almost any other discipline you care to name. Now, there are lots of caveats about that will unfold. One of them is a very simple one. Education in universities is a relatively young academic discipline. And in fact, as we approach the celebration of BERA's 50 years in 2024, that's a good marker for how old, if you like, education as an academic discipline is. Now, in my presidential address, I took the liberty, though, of course, of saying, well, can we think about this a bit differently? If we think about human beings collaborating with other human beings to share knowledge, insights, skills, and so on, you can, of course, go back tens of thousands of years and so on, and hundreds of thousands of years, which I did as well. So a bit of a liberty in the historical overview in the paper. However, what emerged through talking to colleagues at BERA was how can we build on some of the fantastic work that's been done in the past? For example, the BERA Observatory, or another example was the work that Andrew Pollard did many years ago, all of which are centering around, how are we doing, really? We need to kind of, as professionals, I think, reflect on how we're doing, how education is doing in universities. And the basis for how we might act in future obviously needs to be robust research evidence because we are a research organisation. So altogether there are, I think it's 5 projects, all competitively tendered, all of which attracted superb teams, I'm pleased to say, almost all of whom you're hearing from today. And it is the first time we've got together to share all these projects. And the key point is, okay, now let's start thinking not only what about each one helps us understand, what are the commonalities, what are the differences? And so there are presentations, obviously, this morning, as you can see from the programme. And we've got a concentrated hour of discussion when we hope we can learn from you, that we can form ideas together about possible ways forward. We've had a first go at basically some bullet points drawing on the main findings of the project. So if in the back of your mind you can be thinking, I'm going to get stuck into a discussion after lunch and probably during lunch. But as we go, please do ask questions. We've got plenty of time. It's a very relaxed day today. So there's plenty of time after each presentation for you to raise points, ask questions, and so on. So that's enough from me. and I'm going to turn now to the first presentation, which is Structural Inequalities in the Employment of Academic Staff in the UK Discipline of Education. In what ways can our research serve to address exclusion, marginalisation and disadvantage?